All right, I'm going to talk about predictions. I'm going to tell you exactly what they are, and you really need to pay attention to this if you want to move forward in a world that, let's just say, has hope and light. This is critical, this conversation we're going to have. And you could be having mind trips going as we progress into different things that are going to be a little disturbing on this planet. I want you to know that there is nothing to fear, and what I'm about to tell you today is critical, but you're going to have to stay really steadfast in this. Are you ready for this? You can do this. Let's talk about predictions. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Fear. I teach how to break through fear. I have a master class, Move Past Fear. I have a very extensive course, 5 stars, Breakthrough Fear. It's an existing emotion on the planet. We came here in a very challenging situation. It is a program. We chose it. We did not get thrown here, or there's no punishment, or the things that happen here are not something that happened to you. There's something you participate in. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but I'm going to address predictions right up front, and then we're going to talk about them, because I'm counting on you for one very important thing. Predictions are gifts. They're warnings, not of what is to come, but what can come if we do not make changes. What does that mean? Predictions are not in stone. We know this. All right? We know this. So in other words, you can change anything. A prediction is a gift to give us some foresight as to what pathway we're on. So if you choose a pathway and somebody says, hey, there's a bridge out and there's a flood coming, or there's an army of insects that are going to bite you all up, and right, that's all it is. So when you get foresight into some of these things, you say, oh, I can change the path. And we know what the path is. We know how to change it to a place where we don't have to deal with some of those things. And of course, along every single pathway on this planet, for every single person, there will be challenges. That's what we came for. And we don't like that. Humans don't like it. We struggle with it. And so then we think things are in stone, and we do not believe we have power. It's the biggest thing. I want to reinforce with everyone that they completely control the power to change their reality. So somebody said, and I get this frequently, are we in 5D? And my answer is, I don't know. Are you? So if we didn't have individual free will, we would all be in the same reality. We're not. We're not. Some people are awakened. Some people are in super high enlightened state. Christ obviously was not on the same level as other people. So he lived in a completely different reality. And that is what happens now. So in other words, somebody could be in 5D. They could experience that. They'll still be on planet Earth. So somebody says, well, if we have judgment, all these other things, we can't be in 5D. That's not true. That's not true. Those things are going on with the people who choose that. So they're not living in a 5D world. They're living in a low density world. And so they are controlled by that. They're allowing that. They're choosing it. All right, so you, knowing that that is all a choice, stories, the victimization, not knowing your power, not knowing what you are, when you're not in an awakened state, you're controlled by the outside. When you go in an awakened state, you know that you control the outside. So predictions, well, we know most of them have not come true. Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce have predicted many, many things that haven't come true yet. Now, we can talk about the floods that Cayce has predicted. Never came to pass. We're way past those predictions. Does it mean it can't happen? No, anything can happen. If we don't change it, it can happen. Why would it happen? When things are out of balance, then stuff like that, illnesses, struggles, violence, all of that happens. We're totally 100% in control of that. This is what I want to get through to you right now. We are 100% in control of that. So when people tell me, I wish, ETs would come here and just, fix everything, they would love to. They cannot interfere with our plan. What's our plan? Whatever we choose. So if we choose to go to hell in a handbasket, we're allowed to do that. It is not the end of anyone. It is just an end of an adventure. And so therefore the planet has, been restored and renewed several times. This is our last time because we have used up so much of these beautiful gifts. People on our beach here in Florida, they party, they get done, and it's just strewn with garbage. People are pooping in their own nest, right? We don't see past this. If I went into somebody's house and threw garbage all over, they'd be upset, but they have no problem doing that on the planet. We are so egotistically focused now, majority of people. Now, it doesn't have to be you, so you don't have to live in that world. However, we will live with those people, all right? And what we think about them and how we treat them and how we react to things still determines our own enlightenment. So the judgment of that or the dissatisfaction of going into despair and all this other stuff, all you're doing is you're fueling that low frequency. And this is very, very difficult. It is, because the material world seems so real because most of us haven't, progressed to walking on water or through walls, but yet you can do that. It's been demonstrated many times. There are people on the planet right now that do that. Extraterrestrials have no problem doing that. They're more advanced. We don't even believe we can do it, and that's half the battle, right? I want you to know the predictions are the, let's just say, insights into what can happen if we don't change. In other words, we can change, and we can change that prediction. All right, so anything you've heard, yes, is a probability. Why have we been given that probability? Because we have gone into a lower frequency of imbalance, of health, love. All those things create havoc and separation, conflict, and struggle. So even if you think that you're this, awakened, wonderful, loving person, if you're in fear at all, if you're in fear and you're believing it and you're experiencing it, then you are not in a high frequency. You're actually contributing to it. And what does that do? That causes disharmony on the planet, which is then what happens when we have cataclysmic things, with the planet itself. Floodings, all that other stuff will continue to happen as long as we are in disharmony. Right? It's like the illness that we had, our global challenge. What is that? How could we possibly get sick? Well, when we know how anybody gets sick, right? There's an imbalance in the body and something else takes over, neither good nor bad, but it's a lower density. So then it creates illness. We can just as easily go into balance and stay here in total health and never go into that imbalance. All right, so it's not all the good stuff here and the bad stuff is here. No, it's a balance of the two. That's what this planet, the planet is a balance of these two things. There will be storms, there will be other things that take place, but they don't have to go to the level that we think. Now, I want you to know something. If you absolutely grasp that we are creating our future, then you know that no prediction you hear should strike fear into you. All you have to do is know that those things are our insight into what you can personally do, and that no matter what somebody else does, you've got to stay strong in what you know. All right? Have you ever been with somebody who's just completely ignorant and like they'll say something and you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't... and they truly believe it, and they're thinking, okay, let's wait till this happens, and then, boom. Well, the same thing's going to happen here, and that is you have to stay strong in your beliefs and your faith, and know that they can believe whatever they want, that people are evil, that evil resides and it's separate from us, and there's going to be a battle, and it's going to take over, and all this stuff. No, it's us. It's us. There's no separate thing from anything. Everything's one thing, playing itself out. And we can end anything that is going to take us into destruction. That's the game. We came here for that. We want to master this. So we didn't come here and like, oh, this is just happening, and I happen to be here when it happens. No. You are here to participate in that, and everything you think and do counts. So those of you who've just given up and you think the outside world is a problem and that you're feeling bad, or I hear the empath thing constantly. Great. If that's what you want to do, it's your choice. You do contribute to the collective. You're not helping all of us here in this program. The thing is that if you lay in bed, it's your individual energy field that's going to have to play this out, not mine. All right? Does everybody want to give up at some point? Yeah, everybody has times in their life where they just want to pull the covers over and just never wake up. This is difficult stuff, but you're up for it, and you don't want to give up. So no matter what you see out there, know that this is the challenge, this is the test. And so if we just lay down and say, this is okay, or, these people are evil, and we go back into hate and separation, and hate and anger, fear. Those are the worst emotions you can go into. They're low frequency. It's separation. It's saying that's a different person. I don't have control. You do. You don't have control over somebody else's free will, but you can affect them greatly by going into unconditional love and compassion and doing whatever you can, and knowing that nothing ever ends. You're never going to expire. And I'm going to tell you something right now. What you come from and what you're going into when you complete your little mission here, and it's a flash in the pan, is so beautiful. It's so amazing beyond comprehension. We do have a life review. Now, those of you who have heard, I love near-death experiences. Anita Morjana is one of my favorites. People that come back and they're miraculously healed because they went into that light. They go into the miracle circle. Come on over and join my miracle circle. $29.95. We go into a miracle circle. We do have people that have miracles that happen there. Why? They're letting go of all the stories and the low density and all those other things. But let me share something about that near-death experience. It's a near-death. If they have actually died, even though it appears that the body has died sometimes, they aren't truly dead until that silver cord that's connected is severed, in other words. So they haven't really died. They're still hanging out over there. So no one who's come back into their body actually knows what happens when the cord is severed. They can tell you stories right up into that point. Some of them have had life reviews. When you sever the cord, it goes way beyond that. Then you go into experiencing everything you've ever inflicted on another person from their viewpoint. So if you've hurt somebody, you get to experience the hurt. We talked about this. I've talked about this in a couple of videos. So remember everything that you do. When you place yourself in their shoes and think, even if they appear to be evil jackasses, they do care. In fact, those are the people who care the most. They're petrified. They're striking out. That's what power is. People that try to control the material world are the most lost. And if we demonstrate through what we've been taught, and that is to love unconditionally, no matter what. That's a tough one. No matter what. That's the master game. And then when you go into that, and you see and you realize on the other side, wow, I gave the highest possible frequency in the most difficult of situations. And no matter what that other person eventually chose, I went to a space of light. And any other choice isn't the highest frequency. And that has to be mastered. So if you choose anything but that, the review is not going to be a good one. It's not going to be a pleasant one, which means you have to continue to learn. You'll learn on the other side. There'll be a time period for that. And you'll go back into another adventure. It may be as a human, it may not be. And we will experience trials and tribulations. It's what's pushing us to make change. And people don't change until they have that dark night of the soul, and that's all that's happening. Christ was on the cross, and he not only forgave those next to him, the murderers or whoever, whatever their crimes were, but he forgave those that murdered him. This is a very difficult challenge. This is a really, really tough one. You took it on. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. You have a chance to go to an amazing space when you leave here, and it's going to be so worth it. So hang in there when stuff happens. See what light you can. Know that others come from fear. Others come from hurt. You cannot know another person's journey or thoughts. You can't know what's going on in there. So assume what is actually true, and that is we're all one light. We're all the source of that, and everything else is just an experience, and they may make some choices that we don't like so much, but unconditional love doesn't judge that, and that's what we receive over there. That's what we must give here. Are you ready to do that? We can change any future. All these things will break us down, and lower densities love that. They love us to turn on each other. Don't do it. Don't do it. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I hope that you will either take these or also my Manifest Anything, come take my course, come join the Miracle Circle. Whole month you have lessons, practices, a live session, 1 to 2 hours live with me, and a recording, and I don't know what else to tell you. There's just so much that we can do, and I don't know about you, but I'm not going to lay down and just give up. All right? Blessings to you, my beautiful, amazing, perfect light being. You're so important. Don't you ever question that. Everyone counts equally. Blessings. Namaste.